Hi, guys, and welcome to today's live session. I'm not going to be alone. This is actually in collaboration with a good friend of mine, Lucy. And Lucy reached out to me and was talking about, hey, there's so many myths that I would love to debug around being a coach, what a recruiter does, because she's working together with recruiters as well on day-to-day basis as a coach. So it's been really a while since we did a live together. I would say 3 or 4 years, to be precise. So I think it's a good time to get together and do really transparent talk about who we are, what we do, so that you guys out there can really have a better picture of what it's like or what a coach actually does, what their days are like, and what a recruiter does. So today I would like to use the floor to debug some myths around coaching and recruiting so that it helps you more when you are choosing a recruiter, when you're choosing a coach, and can have a good feeling when doing that. So, Lucy, hi. Nice to
Yeah,
have you on board today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time. And it's lovely that we are catching up again, like you said, 3, 4 years since our first live. And I'm really
Mhm.
excited about our chat. Like you said, an exchange, but maybe we can make it in a form of an interview because this is what we do. We ask a lot of questions in our jobs. And I'm really excited to
Absolutely.
talk about what you do as a recruiter, what I do as a coach,
Yeah.
and what people assume, what people sometimes guess, and what they
Mm.
wonder.
Yeah.
So really
Let's
excited.
let's do that. Let's do that because I think there is like quite a lot of mystery around what we do and who we are that it kind of fell from the sky and now we are here like doing our jobs and making millions and whatever. So let's debug all the myths so that it's clear out there and there are no
Yeah.
weird stuff going around. But yeah, actually, those sorry,
Uh,
go on.
Sorry. So actually, when I reached out to you, it was prompted by the many questions I was getting from my clients or my clients to be on my network. And I used to work in recruitment, and now I work with recruiters as a coach. And they would ask me questions about why would I work with a recruiter, right? Or what do I approach a coach for? So I thought, hey, let's get together and chat about it so that we can shed some light on what do we actually do.
Mhm. I love that. Yeah, we met actually many, many years ago. Like Lucy's international, originally from Poland, right? Myself, I am Latvian, and Frankfurt was the place where we met. So we were sitting at the same desk opposite each other back in the days where office was a thing. And
Yes.
Lucy was doing a coaching for the recruitment company that we worked for, and I was there doing recruitment. So we had a lot to do with each other. But time has passed by, and we have evolved. Lucy is a coach now. I'm a recruiter. So both of us entrepreneurs doing it for ourselves as well. So we will touch upon that too. But let's structure this as a little interview because on day-to-day basis, both of our professions heavily lie on questions. So we ask questions to find out more about the people that we want to support. So let's do it today like this as well. You already started it very nicely, like who you are and what you do. But Lucy, tell a bit more about yourself, like who you are, what you do on day-to-day basis.
Thank you. So I'm a coach. I'm a person who develops talents, unlocks potential of internationals, expats, professionals. So I mainly work with people who want to live abroad or already live abroad or sometimes used to live abroad and repatriated back to their countries. I work with them predominantly online. And I've been doing it for 4.5 years now with Lucy Bolin Coaching. But as you already mentioned before, I was working in a corporate environment for two big recruitment companies, doing also coaching, but also training, one-on-one coaching, but training in groups. And that's what I do now with Lucy Bolin Coaching as well. So if there is a company that approaches me for a group training or a group coaching or a workshop, I will gladly do it too.
Mhm.
And yeah, how about
Yeah.
you? What do you do? Who are you?
Um, I am. I am a recruiter, so my main goal is to deliver happiness at work, like something I was unable to find when I was working permanently for multiple employers. So my career started 10 years ago, or I think now a little bit longer, like around 11 years in Frankfurt when I moved there. Very fresh. I was looking for a new job, and actually, recruitment found me. I have to admit, I think that's what happens with most of the recruiters, I would say. This profession chooses you. And yeah, I started off in a recruitment company, very classically looking for candidates for my clients. Then I kind of got fed up of it. I don't know, it was just too much. It was my first work. And then afterwards, yeah, moved on to internal recruiter positions, then afterwards changing seats to HR manager. So literally getting the whole picture of recruitment HR, and it always fascinated me. But yeah, like I said, my main goal is to deliver happiness at work, and that was a piece that was always missing because there was always something why I didn't stay longer with the company. And yeah, along my professional career, I met my husband Erzin, who I'm doing a recruitment together with now in a form of Smartest.one. And yeah, it's much more fun. I love that we can deliver added value to our clients and candidates. And yeah, I spend my days speaking with IT professionals of different kind and with different kind of companies that are hiring IT people. So it's two sides, both totally different, and I'm the middleman trying to make these two sides come together and be happy. That's how I would describe it. Yeah. And yeah, Lucy, I know that coaching is also something that people kind of fall into because for them it seems like the next step after some time being in the corporate world. How did you become a coach? I have always asked that myself.
Yeah. So I think I would, if you allow me, be a copycat and say that coaching has found me as well. So I started my career, if you like, as a teacher. Then I lectured at university in Spain and Germany. Then I moved to the corporate environment and delivered trainings. And I was delivering training about coaching, and that really fascinated me. What coaching is as a tool,
Mm.
and did one of the personality and strengths assessments. It
Mhm.
turned out that my top talent, my top strength is individualism. So what that meant, I actually wasn't sure about what that meant, but when I dived deeper, it meant that I really like working with individuals, and I have this special power
Mhm.
to see people through and to see what they are really good at, what they excel at. And that's why I went into coaching. I did a coaching qualification in Germany, and I started doing coaching, practicing on with the people that I was already training. And I heard that it is different to training, that when you work with individuals one to one, you get to know them better. You steer the conversation, you guide the conversation to where the client wants to go. You help them kind of build a safe space to hear themselves out.
Mm.
Um, and I found it really amazing to be able to support them, to help them discover what they are already good at, to give them perspective, and to support their goals and aspirations. So I really enjoyed it, and that's why I decided to start Lucy Bowling Coaching, to be able to work with individuals, which I do predominantly now. I also work with groups, but what I mainly do is work with individuals. And coaching, as you said, is for everyone. And some even claim that everyone should have a coach, everyone needs a coach, and I definitely support this statement.
Mm.
Um, most of
Do
my
you have
clients,
a coach yourself, if I may ask?
I do. I do have a coach myself. Um,
Interesting.
so she sits in Barcelona. This is where I started Lucy Bowen Coaching, and I meet with her sometimes. You know, if I need clarity, it will be more regular. Sometimes it will be less regular, like a check-in, a call. I call it maintenance. But I do have a coach, and I've been working with her since 2016, so 8 years already. And yeah, like you said, coaching is well. If I think about the people I work with, they approach me because they're not necessarily struggling, or they are not necessarily
Mm.
uh, completely stuck. They are doing well. They are managing, but this isn't enough, because most of them are high performance,
Mm-hmm.
performance, they're high achievers, and they really want to get out more from life. So they
Yeah.
need some guide them to also help them understand for themselves, what is it this more from life? What is it that I
Mm-hmm.
want? How can
Mm-hmm.
I make life more fulfilled? Like I'm so hungry, for
Yeah.
adventure, for achievement, for fun, for richness or wealth in life in many aspects. And how can I achieve it?
Yeah.
So I then guide them and I use the tools that I already have. So we
Mm-hmm.
unlock the tools and they find a way, they find the answers, they find the motivation, the courage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in a nutshell, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually like wondering because very often I know like when you work together with a psychologist, they don't give you the answers, they're not going to tell you, you do this and then like the life will get better or so. So it's more of a asking the right questions to get the person thinking of like different angles of the situation. Is it similar in coaching, or do you have like you said, tools that I give and they like get it? How is it?
So the coaching, of course, you're not supposed to give answers. You're not supposed to tell the
Yeah.
clients what to do. Sometimes, however, the client needs you to be more of a psychologist, more of a mentor,
Mm.
and they will ask you, what would you do from your experience? When you were in this situation, so what did you do? If they give me
Yeah.
the permission, then I will tell them what I would do or what my
Mm.
perspective is. But I think it would be very futile to give answers. And I think you can agree with it. If you gave answers to your recruiters, this would be your decision
Yeah.
and not theirs. So I support them in finding the answers themselves.
Mm.
So sometimes, we need to dig deeper, and it's a process. And
Mhm.
it might be a little bit frustrating not to know the answer straight away, but sooner or later they get to the answer. And there are tools, techniques, methods,
Mhm.
exercises, models, frameworks, so that will make the process actually interactive, and will make it fun and it's
Yeah.
exciting. So I sit and I dig into the past, and
Mhm.
it's and it takes a lot of time. We wanted to make it dynamic.
Mhm.
And if I can,
Nice.
yeah, and if I can also ask you,
Mhm.
uh, when you work with your candidates,
Mhm.
and not know what the right job, the best job is for them, right? You said that you
Mhm.
want to create happiness. But
Yeah.
when they know what this means for them, what environment it should be, what company,
Mhm.
what job, what role,
Mhm.
h- how do you then? You said you are the middle person. So
Yeah.
tools do you use to help them find that happiness, like
Yeah.
the definition of happiness?
Yeah. I believe there are like multiple questions that we can ask, and which I do ask my candidates in order to find out what they like, what they dislike. So I really like to talk about the opposites, because one is like, where do you want your career to go? Who do you want to become? But on the other side, there's always the contra of it. And it's so important to find out what people don't want to do, what frustrates them. So these are the both questions in both directions that I'm always asking. And that really gives me a better understanding of the person, if they would be good for the job that we are discussing. And on the other side, of course, it gives a bit more of a clarity for the candidate as well, because they themselves then realize, okay, like, so this frustrates me. So the environment, I don't know, like you said, individuals. So for them, they would be like, okay, environment with an open space office, not my thing. So I think by asking the right questions, you can get the most out of one person. You can get to know them much better. And I'm sure that's what you do as well. So I see that like kind of aligning. And yeah, that really helps. And this is
Yeah.
the information that I afterwards deliver to my clients so that they can also see what's driving the person, what holds them back, so that they can assess if the person will be then the right one for the role. So yeah, it's the personality touch, so to say, because the CV is always more like data, facts. I was there from then and then, but little personality. If you don't add like hobbies to your CV, you don't know much more about the person. But here
Yeah.
you really have I like, I dislike, I want, I don't want. And yeah, it gives more of the person to the application. And yeah, it's fun. It's loads of fun. I really like kind of psychology things, I like to say. So everything around people, why they do some things, why they don't do some things, kind of also to unfold their potential a little, to give them a bit more courage. Like, hey, you said this, like, why don't you do it? Like, wouldn't that be great? And yeah, that's what kind of keeps me going, because there are so many downs in this job as well. So, I mean, you have seen recruiters, you speak with them on daily basis, you know, so there's a lot of struggles sometimes, you know, because not every day is great. So yeah, and this is what keeps me going.
Right. And you see, what I was listening to you, I just again pinpointed so many similarities between
Yeah.
what coaches and what recruiters do, because you motivate them, you help them find the why,
Mm-hmm.
you encourage them, and that's what I do. That's what I do too. And sometimes with recruiters, because
Yeah.
of my history of working with recruiters, I do. Let's confuse our audience even more, because I do coaching with expats internationals, but I also do recruitment coaching. So I coach recruiters how to do their job better, how to become better recruiters, to ask better questions, sometimes even how to organize their days, or how to acquire clients, how to, I don't know, help what you just described,
Yeah.
um, the conversation, develop as they wanted. I work with, I would say, three different groups. So the first one, and that I spent most time with, is expats, internationals, professionals. Most of them are high achievers, high performance, and they want to really get the best out of life. And if somebody doesn't know what expats or who expats are, because I have come across this question, it's people who decided to go and live abroad. It's either to improve their career prospects or to experience a different culture. They relocate to a different country, and sometimes they struggle because it's not so straightforward. So they hire a coach to help them unlock their potential and really make the best out of what they are best at. So they want to make their stay abroad an enjoyable and fulfilling stay. So these are my lovely expats and internationals that I work with on a daily basis. Then the second group is recruiters. So I do recruitment coaching. I have worked in recruitment for 9-10 years, and I'm now passing on my knowledge to recruiters, sometimes helping them just to design their day with their time management, but also how to acquire candidates, how to acquire clients, how to be that middleman that you talked about. I help them with questions, with interviews as well, how they can help their candidates. And the third group that I work with is executives, so executive coaching, and most of them are also expats. And I started as a trainer, and then I progressed to coaching because I found coaching very, very fascinating.
That's so interesting. I love the word expats. I don't know. I mean, we're expats no, not anymore, because we kind of came back to the countries. Like, I'm still partly an expat, but yeah, I love the English word for it. That's so cool. What would you say? Like,
So I got asked recently when I said I do expat coaching, the person was curious and asked me, expat,
what is it?
is it really?
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of to explain it, because for some it's self-explanatory, but for some they didn't really know, first of all, what expat stands for, expatriate, and then why would expatriates need coaching?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
They do need. I know it's so hard when you go abroad, you know, you think like, oh, I got this, I have my skill set, and then you are on daily basis having these like local struggles, you know, with these simple things, and very often you just forget like who you are, you know, kind of the potential gets like folded a little bit more down because of the day-to-day activities that come your way to actually, yeah, make the day-to-day work, life work. So I think it's a cool thing to have a coach that kind of reminds you like, hey, like, this is why you came here, you know, like this was your idea. So don't worry much about it. That's nice.
Yeah, because there are a lot of, I think there are a lot of challenges that happen simultaneously. So it's the move
Yeah.
about, and then it's if they look for a job, and then if they have to look for a flat, and if they have to learn the language, and there is the integration, And then, yeah, there is the social aspect as well. And then
Mhm.
it's their own goals and aspirations. So I think it's just a lot at the same time. So it might get a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, that's true. I want us to deep dive into the myths, because we want to give a bit more insights to our listeners about that. And maybe I'll start with the few things that I see personally as a myth when it comes to coaches, because like I love Instagram. So I'm there like quite a lot, like spending my free time doing some research, getting inspired. And I see so many like young people becoming coaches, like just like that, like living off of Bali and living the life. And it seems like, I don't know, everyone can be a coach and it's something that people just decide to do. I don't know, it's weird because for me, like, coach is someone with a lot of knowledge, someone who has like experience and wants to share that to help the people to come further in their life. How do you see that, like, also this whole social media thing around like these young life coaches? Does that impact you somehow as well? Like, does that frustrate you sometimes? See something like that? How do you feel? Like,
Yeah, that's a very good question. And yes, I have come across it and I have been confronted with, oh, Lucy, you're a coach too? Oh, sure, great. So there would be some nasty comments about it. And I think um yeah, coaching has gained a lot of popularity, especially in the last years, with COVID, when we were forced to work online or to move our work, our jobs online. And on the one hand, it's great that it became popular because it enabled many more people to hire a coach, to work with a coach, to invest in
yeah,
themselves. But on the other hand, I have come across a term, an overnight coach. So someone who
yeah,
used to work in a completely different, let's say, industry and have a completely different job and then shifted into coaching. I think if somebody does it and authentically believes that they have what it takes to be a coach, I think it
and
is. I would encourage that. But I would also agree with what you said that a coach, the profession of coaching is not something that you can pick up just like that.
yeah,
Um,
that's
and
right.
I started as a teacher, so I have a formal teaching education, and then I was lecturing, and then I qualification in coaching. And I would definitely encourage anyone who wants to become a coach to study first and to do a lot of training before they proclaim or announce themselves, a coach, because there
Mhm.
is a lot of um, skills, capabilities that might be not so obvious when it comes to coaching.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's easy to speak to people and to help
Mhm.
them, but as I said, it's more intricate. It's more
Mhm.
complicated and complex to really listen to people, show empathy, understand them, uh, apply the right tools, be what they really need you to be. So sometimes a motivator, sometimes just the listener, sometimes the person who shows clarity and drives you to those aha moments.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of myths around anyone can be a coach, and coaching is easy, and you can do it off the beach or on the beach in
Mhm.
Bali. Nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
But I think my final statement would be there is a lot of knowledge, a lot of capabilities
Mhm.
that need to be put under your belt before
Yeah.
uh, you can coach. And you always you
Mhm.
always I still work on improving my skills. So it's not something that
Yeah.
has an end.
Yeah. I can imagine. How does one find the right coach? Because there are so many of coaches out there, right? Like, I think that I would think it's the most challenging thing if I would be looking for a coach now, like
Mhm.
how to find the right one. Like, what would you say? How did you find maybe your coach?
Mhm. Yeah, I found one mine through a recommendation, and I think many coaches, they offer a discovery call. So I would recommend to have a call with your potential coach and to see how that interaction goes. You know, if you can imagine working with that person, if the chemistry is right. And some of the clients that come to me, they have a specific need. So it will be more the career coaching that they need, or the life coaching, or they want to abroad and they need the expat coaching. Some of them are leaders and they want to be able to better manage or to better strategize. So they come with a specific request and then they ask around, you know, in their network and their circle, or they Google it, or they look for a coach on social media. So it depends what you feel most comfortable with. So if you have a very solid network around you, you can ask your friends, and then book a call with someone who someone else recommended to you, and then test it and see if it would work.
Yeah.
And I also equally ask you some questions about the myths about recruitment. You know, so maybe we can swap between coaching and recruitment. So when I work with recruiters, they come to me and say, Lucy, many people don't even know what I do. And they ask me, why would I work with a recruiter? I can send my CV to the client directly. What would a recruiter help me with? Why would I waste my time, you know, explaining to the recruiter what I do? What's kind of the added value of working with a recruiter? That's the myth I have come across from my client recruiters. So I have to constantly explain and justify that what they do does matter and what they do can happen. How?
Yeah, very good question. I think because it's not something you learn in university, you know, there is no degree recruiter, you know, it's not so tangible and not so maybe understandable what a recruiter does. So there are a lot of these like myths out there. Oh, they're like scammers. They're just after the commission. So that's all people know about recruiters. And then, yeah, when someone approaches them as a recruiter, they're like, oh, no, I'd rather stay away from them. But to debug this myth, actually, recruiters are your best friends. So they know everything about the job. They have talked like with the hiring manager. So they know the budget. They know the must-haves, nice-to-haves, won't-haves. So they literally know everything about the role. So we invest so much time to speak with the client to understand and analyze what could be the best person for this role before we actually start the whole search. So, and when we are searching then, the added value for you as a candidate is that we have this knowledge and we can prepare you accordingly. So we can give you tips what to expect, what the manager is like, based on the characteristics, what the company culture is like. So we can give so much more information compared to what you would find in a job ad. So we're your best friend in order to get this job. We will do everything or like a lot so that you could actually go through the interview process and get the job at the end of the day if you want it. I know maybe a lot of people think, yeah, they just push the salary down or so. I mean, I'm not the one doing that. I haven't been in a situation where I actually was pushing someone down. I'm very open always about the budget. So I would say the client has this and that budget for the role. Like, where do you see yourself? And then together we discuss what could be the best salary to approach this role with. So, yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's no secret. The more the candidates earn, the more is the commission for ourselves as well. So if someone wants to really push you down, yeah, they're in for the wrong motives, I would say, in recruitment. So, yeah, use them, be honest with them, with recruiters, because they can help you to get the job if you want to have it at the end of the day. So I think that's the added value. Yeah.
Right.
And many people don't use recruiters like as much as they could, you know? Always the recruiters are the ones. So, hey, let's prepare for an interview together. Let's do a salary negotiation. Whereas on the other side, I mean, I would assume that the candidates would be interested to like soak all the information out of the recruiters to actually get the job at the end of the day. So this is what I'm wishing that candidates would do like much, much more. Because, yeah, we can give a lot. And yeah, to finalize this whole thing, it doesn't cost you anything, like nothing. You know, you have so much information, so much preparation, CV checkup, motivation checkup. You do literally everything for this much.
Yes.
And that's amazing. So
Yes.
I like,
They're your agents. They're your agents.
yes.
That's how I call them. The recruiters are your agents. They are there to help you
Mm.
and find out, first of all, what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
What your
Mm.
motivations are. Then they help you to prepare the CV, prepare for the interview.
Yeah.
They check with you how you feel. Then
Mm.
they, like you mentioned, if you really don't know what the right salary should be or could be for you, they
Yeah.
shed light on that and prepare you to negotiate, and then help you prepare your best self for the interview.
Yeah.
Also, you are there after
Mm.
they've started their jobs, right? If there is any
Yes.
issue, any questions, any, I don't know.
Yeah. Anything, come
Yeah.
to us. Yeah, we're here. So I think there, yeah, should be a better light put there to the recruiters. And that's why I also have taken it as my mission to share all of that on LinkedIn, like what my day is like, what situations my candidates are, so that people could literally learn and find out more about what it's like to be a recruiter. So yeah, debugging that myth. Lucy, I'm wondering because there are coaches, there are psychologists, I don't know, there are astrologists, like different kind of people who would be there to help you get better. Like, how do I know? Let's say if we take psychologist and coach, who should I approach? Probably you get this very often too, right?
Yes. So I would, yeah, I definitely get this. And I would say that not many, but some of my clients work together with me and a psychologist. And,
Mm.
and they decide what they want to approach a psychologist for or with,
Yeah.
and what they think I can help them with. So I said that I specialize in recruitment, in expert, because I was an expert myself for 20 years. And I
Mhm.
also do executive coaching, because in the last 2 years, most of the coachings I've done was with experts, but they were either CEOs or leaders, also managing big teams. So it's the client themselves who decides. Now, a psychologist, I would just say, tends to go deeper into the why of a problem, and might
Mhm.
also go into the past. So the childhood, the relationships in the childhood,
Mhm.
more often. It doesn't mean that in coaching I don't do that. If it's necessary, it's useful, if it helps the process, we will do it. But if
Mhm.
I were to explain it in a very easy and simple way, I would say that coaching is more dynamic. So we talk about the now and the way forward. And if we need to tap into the past and see, okay, why is the now like this? We do.
Mhm.
But do not, most of the time, if I were to put a percentage, is 70% on the now and the future, and
Mhm.
30% on the past. And
Mhm.
sometimes when people feel more comfortable talking about their emotions, about their
Mhm.
struggles, dilemmas, when it's to do with their personal lives with a psychologist.
Mhm.
Um, so it's I would say it's really personal. So the person
Yeah.
themselves decides who they want to work with, whether they really
Mhm.
want to embrace what has
Mhm.
happened to them and really move forward and do
Yeah.
it in a dynamic way, or whether they need to really understand and dive deeper, dig, and see
Mhm.
what happened in the past. So this is how I would describe it.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Sometimes I am a psychologist, right? Sometimes, like, one of the first questions
Yeah,
I ask my clients is, "What type of coach would you like me to be to you?" And
that's a
then they
good
say,
one. Yeah.
later, "I want you to be very empathetic. I want you to push me. I want you to be, upfront with me. I need this. This is what I
Mm.
best this is what I best respond to." So
Mhm.
then we kind of, this is the first coaching session. What
Yeah.
the first coaching session is about. We contract, how we want our relationship to be,
Yeah.
what they need, and then I adapt what I can give to them.
Mhm. That's nice. Sounds so good. It's very tailorable, so to say, to how you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And how about you and, let's say, headhunting? Okay, because
Mhm.
when I say that I'm a recruitment coach,
Yeah.
this is met with a lot of confusion. First of all, a
Mm.
coach, who and what is a coach, and then, like you have already mentioned,
Mm.
recruit. What do you really do? So,
Mhm.
but when I tell them, I work with headhunters. this is this I would say rings more bells, if I can put it this way. So tell me, what's the then between being a recruiter and then headhunting?
Mhm. It's a good question because I think every recruiter understands it a little differently, like based on where do they come from. Because I think headhunting is something very British and how people would call it in America. So headhunters, people who are literally hunting heads, hunting people. I think recruitment is the modern word of headhunting. That's how I would see it. But on the other side, I do know that there are little differences. So for me personally, headhunter is someone who has been asked from their clients to go into, let's say, their competitors and get specific people out of there to work for them. So that is for me headhunting. So my client says, Liane, I want this and this person. I heard they're the best in the industry. Approach them. And then the headhunter would literally do anything to get to talk to them to see if they would be interested to change. And I know what I did as well at the beginning of my career. We would call people in at work. So imagine you're working and a recruiter calls you while you're at work sitting in an open space office and asks you like, hey, are you interested to change jobs? And you have like your colleagues around, you think like it's the conversation I cannot have here. But this is for me a headhunter. So someone who is really determined to find someone specifically. And I mean, I don't do that. If my client would ask me to do something like that, I would probably be up for it just to challenge myself as well. And recruiter is more of a combination of searching for people, doing active outreach, being on the phone, finding out what the people want, what they don't want, doing salary negotiations. So this more of a package, I would say. At least that's how I see it and how I would describe it. So yeah, that would be my take. I don't know, how is it, like, what would you say? Because probably you also have some people that approach you that are recruiters slash headhunters or headhunters and recruiters. Like, how is it? How would you define the difference?
Well, I think I would agree with you that they do both. So most recruiters, they say that in some, you know, they to some extent they are both, recruiters and headhunters. That every recruiter does headhunting to a certain extent, right? And maybe headhunting is different now than it used to 10 or 20 years. When you look for that one person who is the expert, and you just reach them using some tricks, and not be allowed, and calling them while they're at work or trying to reach them. But I think now, of course, because of social media, because of candidates being more proactive about their job search, I think headhunting has also evolved, has changed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I would say that I think every recruiter should be, or is a headhunter to a certain extent, especially if you've worked for, in your industry for a while, you will know who the people are who want to hunt. Then you go and hunt them. And I think how you decide to hunt is pertinent to your own style, to what you feel comfortable with, what length you are ready to go to approach this person. Because at the end of the day, it's not only you benefits or the client, it's in the very first place the candidate that benefits. So it's about those skills. How do you influence that person to agree to that follow-up call? Because when you call them and they are surrounded by their colleagues, they might not be eager to talk to you. But how do you convince them to take the second call?
Yeah, that's a good one. That really is.
And that's this is one of the challenges, right? That you have to encourage your candidates to entrust in you. And this is things I work on with my recruiter clients.
Yeah, how to build rapport.
Yeah, build rapport and present themselves and explain in a competitive way what they do and how they can help, support, aid the job search. Especially if somebody is really not looking for a job and maybe scared or not sure. This is where the recruiter comes in and says, hey, Let me tell you how I can help you. And again, this is another similarity between recruitment and coaching, because
True.
many people ask, if we were to go back to those myths, why would I work with a coach? Um, how can a coach help me?
Mm,
What is the really tangible benefit? Because some of the myths that I come across is that coaching is fluffy. Coaching
mm,
is not really a science. Yes, you
yeah.
can study it at university. There are more and more master's degrees that you
Mhm.
can do, but it's still not a discipline like engineering or medicine,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you can go study, finish a program, um, and enter your professional career.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. Yeah. I want us to move on to kind of the final part of our conversation because I mean, coach, of course, that's something you do with the people that approach you and choose you as a client. But on the other side, we're entrepreneurs. It's a business that we run. You run it, and a single person. I run it together with my husband. So tell me about the side that no one actually sees. Because I mean, we have accounting. You need to have an online presence. You need to maybe do some sales to find the clients. How does this side look like for you
mm,
personally?
yeah, this was, I have to say, I think one of the biggest challenges, but the one that I welcomed the most
Mhm,
when I started my business 5 years ago, to do the things like you said that we didn't have to do or didn't do as much of when we worked for companies, for
mhm,
firms. So what don't our clients see? They don't see probably
mhm,
how we set the firms, how we chose the niche, right? Your niche is IT, my niche is expats,
mhm,
nationals, high achievers, and recruiters. So
mhm.
choosing niche and then also working out the strategy, so
Yeah.
where am I going? Why am I going in that direction?
Mhm,
What strengths do I have? How do I want to add, my audience? Where do I find my audience?
mhm,
And so I think this is the part of the job that our clients don't see. That's adds a lot to our plate, but which I find actually very,
mhm,
very interesting and very enriching. Like you said, the social presence, the activities that we engage in to
mhm.
shed more light on what we do, to
Yeah.
educate our audience and explain to them how we can help them.
Mhm,
This is all the activities, yeah, that we do on a regular basis. Well,
mhm,
next recruiting, next to coaching calls,
mhm,
coaching conversations.
mhm. Yeah, that's true. There's so much more to it than what people actually then see online, what we show. Yeah. Because for us, it's quite similar. I mean, now that we are four people now working for Smartest, you have colleagues. So it's all about also team building, like managing the team, a different type of communication now it is. Yeah, like looking at some goals, where we're going as a company, what is the, yeah, financial goals that we want to achieve, accounting, like so many things coming together. And yeah, sometimes they do consume quite a lot from you, where you actually have less time to do like the actual work. But yeah, it's always a balance, and I think that's the most exciting one. I'm sure you will agree that there are days where you do, I don't know, more accounting, and then there are days where you're really focusing on your clients, and yeah, it's rewarding at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and I think we shouldn't leave out the challenges and how to juggle
Mm,
all of, because
yeah.
I come across a lot of people who would like to be in our shoes, business owners,
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, and what I hear is a lot of freedom. You're independent. You can do what you want. You can decide what you want and when you want, when you do it. And
Yeah.
yes, that's true, but you also have to manage all that freedom, right?
Mhm.
And you have that clarity that maybe before you were employed came from
Mhm.
your manager, from let's say the CEO of the company, and
Yeah,
now you decide. You need to decide. You are the decision maker, and you also need to have the drive and the self
that's
motivation,
true. Yeah.
and also the aspiration to grow and
Mhm.
to set, achievable but also ambitious goals for the future. So
So
sometimes there
true.
are days where you don't know that, and you need to find it within you. That's I think that we shouldn't really leave that the difficulty in the challenge, because the challenge can be exciting, but it's also very difficult to run it all, right? To
Absolutely.
manage.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you said all the freedom and everything, I really always have to laugh because it's funny because I think the difference between maybe it's not so nicely put, but the difference between someone who is an entrepreneur and who is not an entrepreneur is decision making. So this is for me like what kind of puts these two people aside from each other. And it really is like what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do, and actually doing it at the end of the day, you know? Of course you have the freedom, but this freedom has a cost in that way. And it's so interesting. I think you will also agree, because for me personally, like I work more hours than I would do in a corporate job, you know, and it's also weekends included. And you really have to make a decision. You need to choose, I don't know, suppliers or whatever, depending on what you do at that moment. And it takes a lot of you. So
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And also,
Mm.
yeah, and also like learning, right? Because we learn a lot of the
Yeah.
domain that we did
Oh,
not do. So I have always been very fascinated by marketing, but now I'm doing my for my own firm, right?
mm.
And it's exciting, but it's also very challenging
Yeah.
to decide, right, how you want to do the marketing, what
No,
marketing is, if what marketing is authentic to you, right? And
yeah.
branding as a company, but also as you, recruiter, again,
Mm.
as coach Lucy.
Yeah.
And then you said the planning, the strategizing, the accounting,
Mm.
and motivation. So yeah, it's multifaceted.
It is.
Yeah.
Again.
So anyone who wants to open their own business, who thinks that this is what they are good at, if they have the the desire, they should definitely attempt it. But yeah, I
Mm.
consider that not only doing the job,
Mm.
but everything around it as well.
Yeah. That's very well said.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think let's end on that note today, because otherwise there are so many myths that
Yeah.
we could talk about. You know, I think the last one that I was thinking is that coaches have a perfect life, you know, and that's why they like to,
I haven't heard this one, Liana. I haven't heard this
yeah,
one.
because that's why they are, yeah, there to help others to get the perfect life as well. But
We also have coaches, you see, so we also have
yeah,
our own struggles, and we have many, maybe we have many more tools than others, because these are
mm,
the tools, the frameworks and models that we then pass to our clients. But
yeah,
still, there is a challenge in applying those tools, right? So we
yeah,
are also human beings, and there are times when we are better at applying those tools, and there are times when we are not
that's
so good.
true. Yeah, well said. We are human at the end of the day. So yeah, if you as a human are looking for a coach at the moment, Lucy is your um, go-to woman when it comes to that. And yeah, when it comes to recruiting, if you need any help with your job search or any tips, feel free to reach out. But yeah, it was lovely to have you, Lucy, here today. And it's nice that we had a chance to get together and make another life happen. So yeah, thanks for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was great. Ta-da.
Ciao.